Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. This one's very special. It's a little bit different than what I normally do, but I've just got off the phone with an incredible 20-year-old lad who's managed to make £100,000 in the last 15 days. 100 grand in 15 days he's done on his one product store. I've had a great chat with him. We're going to go straight into the computer here and you're going to see, I'm going to play this back to you because this is amazing. His story's amazing, what he's done, what he's going to do, what his plans are, and he gives away so much valuable information in this call that you need to watch it.
I think we'll probably start off with you just introducing yourself, really. Just tell everyone a bit about yourself, how you got started in dropshipping.
Yeah, so I suppose like about probably 3 years ago, I since a young age, probably like yourself and everyone watching this video, or like it's just this passion for entrepreneurship and wanting to sell stuff online or sell stuff anywhere. It didn't really matter. It was in school, it was this, it was that. It wasn't necessarily drop shipping at the start. It was just I was eager to be on my own, be independent, be selling, and be financially free. At the end of the day, I suppose that's the end goal. But I came across drop shipping probably 3 years ago. Set up a store and sold some necklaces, and just maybe did €1,000 in sales or something like that, and then just cut it off after that because didn't know what I was doing and panicked, and parents thought I was stupid and stuff like that. So I kind of stopped in totally until the January 14th of this year, and I seen something that was after happening in Ireland, and basically what it was there was a new law came in whereby no one could exceed a certain limit of alcohol in their system and drive at the same time. So like you probably know what an alcohol breathalyzer is.
Yeah.
So like back in November 2018 there was chaos in Ireland. Like everyone was going crazy because no one could drink or have one drink even and we can go for a drive. So I just seen a little opportunity. Why don't I send some Facebook ads selling some breathalyzers from AliExpress? So
Nice.
I set up a store and I think I put €36 into Facebook the first day, and it gave me like €400 back, and I was in dreamland. And I suppose that all kicked off for me again, and it got going for me right around then. And ever since, I've been just obsessed with dropshipping and AliExpress and Shopify and everything.
Oh, that's
So,
great. You jumped on a trend, didn't you? Really, you jumped
yeah,
on a trend and capitalized from it like straight away. So I mean,
yeah,
that's smart. I think that's what I try and get across to people. It's you can find a great product, but you need the demand for a product. If you tried to
yeah,
sell a breathalyzer in any country where they've had those laws in place, it wouldn't really happen
mm,
because that was just happening with you right then. It
yeah.
worked. It worked really,
Yeah.
really well. So with the necklaces, just going back to that a second, was that just like a niche store you were running, just for jewelry?
It was like the debut team on Shopify, the classic one. And I was running Instagram influencer ads. I didn't even send them the product. I just gave a photo and said, "Can you put that in your feed or put that in your story?" So it was pretty hopeless, but um, like it was just really dipping my toe in the water, and I had some success, but for whatever reason, and it's the biggest regret I've ever had now, knowing what I know now, is that I didn't stick with it back then. Going back to the breathalyzer store, that died off around January, February, because I was capped to 5 million people in Ireland. It was a small market. I tried to get into Canada, Australia, places like that where the laws were a bit similar, but I couldn't break in, so I just dropped that off. Now I did good sales. I think it did 70,000, so it wasn't bad for my first store in
Oh wow,
3 months. So it was
yeah.
pretty good.
Um,
Mm.
so moving on to your sort of like this big store, the one that's done, was it €70,000? Is it in a month or £70,000?
I just broke 100,000 for August yesterday, so
100,000. So we're on what, the 15th of August, and you've done 100,000 in 15 days.
yeah, um,
That is good.
yeah. So ever since I suppose kind of the end of March, start of May, I've been searching relentlessly for the next product. I think I must have tested 10 stores, lost probably about €4,000 on testing things, sending ads, but nothing was working for me. Um, and then I was just so close to giving up so many times, but I kept pushing. And that's probably what people aren't doing these days. They're because it is hard to find out winning product. You know that yourself. and you pull back, and obviously financially it's difficult as well if you're constantly losing money for a couple of months before you find that thing, or a couple of weeks. But luckily I had the money because of the breathalyzers that went well earlier in the year. So yeah, basically one night I was sitting down and I was on an app called, I think it's Power Ads Buy. It's just like a website, and I signed up, gave them €20 for the month or whatever, and scrolling through that, and it popped up. I won't say what now because obviously I'm doing so well with it now.
Yeah,
but
I don't expect you to.
it came to me and I seen it and I was like, wow. So I did a bit of digging, and it was clearly a dropshipping product from AliExpress. It had all the characteristics, you can source it on AliExpress, all the criteria, and I went for it. I found it, and I was like, whoa. So I did a bit of digging on the website that was actually selling, where I found the ad on poweradsbuy.com, and I found out that they're only selling into the US. So what I did straight away was I built out a store. I got some video content created under my own Simi brand, we'll call it, and I launched it into the UK predominantly. So I had the store currency as pounds, because obviously when the customers see that, especially in the UK, they're more likely to check out, in my opinion anyway. And it just took off almost instantly. Yeah, so that's basically the story. And just to give a couple of points on the product, it's definitely a product everyone has probably thought about selling, but not when to sell because they thought it was saturated. I thought it was saturated myself before I went to sell it, but it wasn't. It's almost like an evergreen product. It doesn't exactly solve a problem. It doesn't really solve a problem at all. It's more of a desire, a want, and it's a trending product in the past 1 to 2 years as well. So that's kind of a bit of background behind the product.
So you found it using Product Spy. I've heard about that before. I've looked at it as well. What was it that kind of drew you to that product? Was it just sort of the engagement on the product, or on the ad, or what was it?
Yeah, it was a mixture between, not before I even seen the engagement on the video, I seen the video as in me from a buyer point of view, and obviously, like if it triggers you to want to buy the product, well then like it's probably a good sign, because I think all of us are probably very skeptical about products we probably see online, knowing the industry and knowing that products can be in like poor quality and stuff like that, especially when they're dropshipped. So it stood out to me straight away as something that could, like, it was just a no-brainer really when I seen it. Like, I wanted to buy it, so I said, why not give it a try? And the engagement on the video was phenomenal.
So it was a social proof that drew you to it, and also because you wanted to buy it yourself, and that was somebody actually advertising to you at first that brought your attention to this product.
What I've just gone and done with it was, because I've started to see this in the industry a little bit, is obviously the UK. I know it's much bigger than 5 million in Ireland. There's like, I don't know, there's 66 million people in the UK or something like that. But I wanted to start diversifying like immediately, because I want this to be a sustainable long-term business, not just this particular product, but e-commerce and dropshipping and private label and stuff like that. I see it as, it's a good long-term solution, because that's the way the market in general is shifting. High street sales are going down, online sales are rising. And so if you can have a good brand and good products in general, you're going to find success. So what I've gone and done is I went onto Upwork, and I got a German translator. So I translated the whole store into German, bought the German domain for the brand name I've created, and launched it I started the German store last Friday. What I did to launch it was I just created lookalike audiences for Germany based on my purchases from the UK store, and just put them into an ad set and launched them. So got it all translated, launched the ads into Germany straight away. They were warm targeting, because I had the data from the UK, even though it's a different country, but the population is much the same. And that's been doing really well. I think it's 15,000 in sales now since last Friday, so it's doing very well as well. And it's diversifying from the UK as well.
Yeah, I mean,
so in case
you're expanding it, that's brilliant. Really, it's the best way. It's definitely the best way to do it. Now, that you were saying, it is a lot of everyone sort of targets English as the language. but there's so many different languages out there that just aren't being advertised to. And do you know what your CPMs are when you go into for the German language? Is it a lot lower than you were seeing in the UK, or?
Probably around like my ad account will be in euros because I'm in Ireland, about €2 cheaper.
Okay, so there is like a benefit to doing the other languages because there's less competition within the audience.
I don't think many people have started to actively do that yet, but I know there is a lot of dropshippers that are starting to realize that there's just massive markets. It's like 60 million in France, and I think it's 89 million in Germany, and the same with Spain. Like they're massive markets, and if you can accurately translate using people on Upwork and stuff like that, and just rebuild your store with their custom domain, it's your conversion rate will just rise significantly.
I suppose what I cover really now is you found your product. How did you start testing it? What was your first steps on that UK store?
My first step was a post engagement campaign. And I think I was getting like a 2.5 ROAS in that campaign. So once I seen that I was going for engagement and I was getting a 2.5 ROAS on engagement, well, then I just got very excited.
Yeah, that's the first indicator, isn't it, about winning products, is when you're getting sales on a PPE campaign. Yeah. That's not what they're there for. So, I mean, that's definitely green lights to go when you get something like
that. After that, it was just, I got my 95% video viewers, lookalike audiences, and kind of went from there. Then next thing, it was website view lookalike audiences, testing separate cold interests, filtering them out, the ones that weren't working, then putting the good ones into CBOs. And scaling the CBOs as high as I can before they see a dip in the ROAS. Yeah, that's kind of been my strategy so far. Now it's still fairly young. Like I only launched it in July 7th, so I still probably have a bit of learning to do in this new store. But yeah, that's where we are so far.
Yeah, because that's what I teach in the academy is the PPE campaign, 95% lookalike audience. And then you move on, you go down the funnel, you do your lookalikes for your view contents, your ad carts, your initiate checkouts, and ultimately your purchases. That seems to be the best way to do this right now. And obviously you've had massive success using that method on your store. And that's why, it's very important to find that product, because the methods work. It's the product and the brand behind it that make it.
Yeah. The store, I don't have any like trust badges. Well, I've one trust badge. I don't have it in spammy. It's really clean looking. But I think that's the way things are shifting a little bit more. People are seeing these ads sent out with emojis and everything on them. And I personally don't think they're working anymore. Maybe they are, but I think there's been a slight shift. Facebook even, like, when they're approving ads, it's getting a bit more difficult. Like, you have to be careful with what you say, what content you're putting out. You can't really be pushing like the sale. You can push your brand on your audience, but you can't really be pushing the sale too hard, or they don't like it, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think people are becoming a little savvy to the whole countdown timers, the trust badges, like you were saying, the only like 2 left in stock banners and all that sort of stuff. I think people are clocking onto it, and you have to go a lot cleaner these days. You have to create a brand like you would expect yourself. I think maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, the whole scarcity timers and the trust badges worked really, really well. But there's so much out there now. Even when you try to go on holiday and you try to book a hotel room, they say there's only 2 rooms left. It's everywhere, and people just don't believe it anymore. And shifting away from that into something a little bit more trustworthy is definitely the way to go.
I have. We'll say I can't really upsell the product because it's a one product store, or I can't have accessory products to go with it. So one of the things I've done to increase average order value is it's an app called Sweet Upsell. I'm not sure the YouTuber's name, but I think he's from Australia. He developed it. But basically what happens is when they go through and they make their purchase, what comes up is like almost like a funnel page where they get like, congratulations, you've been granted with a 20% discount after completing your order. And then they can go ahead and and it's called like a family and friends discount. So they get 20% off if they buy another pair of the product. So I think like the conversion rate on it has been like 4%. So every 4% of customers are coming through and buying that again. So it's just a really nice little trick to increase the average order value.
Yeah, because you all you're doing there is increasing your AOV. You're technically not losing any money, even though you're giving them a discount, because you've already got the sale. You've already made your purchase that you wanted from the ad. Anything else now is just a bonus, and so it's really important to have those upsells, those cross sells on the store to increase the AOV, because that's ultimately how you stay profitable and become more profitable as you start to scale. And it's very, very important to have that on the stores.
I see. Probably like yourself, like the potential is there. So if you keep working at it, like you will be able to achieve the numbers. And once you start achieving them, they're not as scary numbers anymore. Like when you see them there, you're happy for an hour, but then you just want to focus back on the business and try and get them up a little bit more.
Yeah, you definitely get used to those. When you start and you see 20,000, 30,000 in ad spend, you're like, oh, I'll never get there. That's massive. But when you're doing it, you don't even blink anymore. You get used to those numbers where they don't mean as much anymore. That's really strange as well. But there's no better feeling than finding that product and getting it to scale like that. It's life changing. It really is.
Yeah, no, it is life changing. Even like going into the bank or I had to set up a new company because it was the sales were going so high. Like they're just kind of looking at you and they're like, Jesus, like where are these numbers coming from? Like, yeah, it's mad.
Yeah. So what sort of retargeting have you got set up then?
My retargeting campaigns have been epic. Like the return on investment from retargeting, as you probably know, is just phenomenal. Like I think it's been averaging out at 8.2 or something like that. So I separated out. So I retarget the 95% video viewers, excluding website visitors. Then I go website visitors, excluding add to cart, excluding initiate checkout, and initiate checkout, excluding purchase. And that's kind of just my retargeting campaign. Then what I have is like 5 different creatives within each ad set for them, and that's kind of basically it.
Yeah, that's the best way. That's the best way to retarget, because you're doing every single part of the funnel, and that's why I teach that within the academy, because it's sort of that is the way. That you can do different sort of like offers at different stages of the funnel. Do you add like discounts? Give different percentage discounts at different parts of the funnel within yours?
I haven't started discounts yet. That's the next thing on my to-do list. I've just basically been retargeting with stock is running low. Basically caption or restock, but I haven't launched a discount code for the retargeting just yet.
So how did you start to scale then? Once you realized that your initial sort of campaigns were profitable, was it a case of duplicating and increasing the budgets, or did you sort of increase the budget on the campaigns you were working on? How did you go about doing that?
So how did I do that? Okay, yeah. So after I started my initial, we'll say, post-engagement campaign, and I realized it was probably going to work. And then I set up my 95% video viewer lookalikes. I did 1 to 2%, 2 to 3, all the way to 10. Then what I did was that was profitable. So straight away, I think on the second or third day, I transitioned that to CBO. Initially, it was a €20 per ad set, one on the 1 to 2%, 2%. 3% or whatever, and I transitioned to CBO because all the ad sets were actually producing good ROAS. So I said, why not just transition all that to CBO and let Facebook can do the heavy lifting anyway. That they'll figure out which ones are the most profitable ad set within that. So I started launching that. Then I did the exact same process with the video viewers, or not video viewers, but website views, lookalike audiences, and scale that in a very similar fashion. Did the exact same with interest. So tested 10 cold interests. All of them were profitable. Bar 2, I think. So I had to cut 2 and then transitioned that to CBO and started to scale that. So at the start, I was kind of scaling 3 CBOs pretty heavily. So that was my main scaling strategy. Now, I think none of them have actually died off yet, thankfully, but I keep trying new lookalike audiences, stuff like that, just to try and keep the momentum going and stuff. Yeah,
so you sort of like keep adding new ad sets in each day. So if things do start to die off, you've got new ones sort of building up at the same time. It's probably kind of the best way to do that. You keep recycling those in.
And the beauty about it is, once I know what's working in the UK store, what interests are working, I'm just now starting to launch them interests in Germany. because like they're proven to work in the UK. So hopefully they have been working in Germany. So once I find something that's working in the UK, just bring it over to Germany, and the same thing is kind of working for that as well.
It's brilliant, brilliant. I mean, it's like you're using the UK store as your test base now. You've got a store doing 100,000 in 15 days, and you're using it to test things for your other store. So that's that's brilliant. So what do your folks think of this then? What do your parents think?
See, it's funny because my dad is a construction company, as we'll say, and the company averages probably 150,000 per month in sales. Just it's an evergreen product, like it's just selling construction products every day to builders and stuff like that. So now this month so far, like my sales are well ahead of Dad's company sales. So Dad's kind of looking like, what are you doing? So it's just kind of funny, but they're delighted for me.
So like I think, like how is this changing your life then? I think obviously everyone likes to talk about, you know, getting these stores and seeing these numbers, but it's always good to hear sort of like the personal story of how it is changing someone's life. When, you know, dropshipping has changed my life, kind of thing. So I know people know about my story on the channel and everything, but it'd be good to hear like how has it changed yours, because this is still quite recent for you. So has much changed, or is everything still kind of similar to what it was before?
I honestly don't think it's hit me yet. It hadn't really hit in yet that like, whoa, Jesus, like I've a bit of money to work with and stuff like that. But the main thing for me is that like it's helped me realize that like, yeah, it is possible what the gurus say, we'll call them, like Sam Ovens or Ty Lopez or any of them guys, it's true. Like I remember seeing the ads when I was a kid, and it's like, whoa, that's definitely a scam or whatever. Like probably what most people say.
Oh, yeah.
But just to realize that no, it's not, and like what we're doing is totally possible, very easily. So it's helped me realize that, like, and yeah, it's possible, and now I'm able to do it, and like you're able to do it, and it's just a really good feeling.
It is. That kind of frustrates me a lot when people see the ads, they see these YouTubers, putting this content out, and they're getting the comments like scammer, and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, no, it's really not a scam. Like, this is a legitimate business, and if you find the right product and you brand it correctly and you advertise it to the right people, you can make a lot of money dropshipping, as long as you know what you're doing. And that, you can lose a lot of money doing it wrong, within Facebook ads. If you're doing that wrong, you can lose a lot of money. But if you get it right, like you have, you're proof right here, that it can happen. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what age you are, it can happen to everybody. And I think that's what people need to understand, especially these people that are, calling scams straight away. If they're looking to improve their lives, you have to have that mentality, that positive mentality to look into something a little bit deeper than just calling scams straight away. Get involved and then learn how to do this and change your life, basically.
Yeah, like it's probably before you start dropshipping. What I did earlier this year, and I don't know if anyone does this, but it's important to just sit down and ask yourself what you actually want to achieve from it. Like I knew my goal was to hit like 70,000 profit this year. And I remember sitting down earlier this year and thinking, Jesus, like how am I going to do that? But I just, when you put that out there and you say, look, that's what I want, and you put the effort towards it, well, then it's totally achievable. And especially with dropshipping, because it simplifies business. You can have a business up and running within one day and be making sales within one day, and that's how it is. And I can see, but to be fair, you can see why people might not believe that is possible. But
it's scary. It does seem too good to be true. You can have a business up and running in one day. You can make your sale within the very same day, and within a week, you can be doing thousands and thousands of profit. Within the very same week. It is crazy. It's mad when you're looking at people trying to do Amazon FBA and they're spending thousands on stock just so they can sell something before they even know if it's going to work. Dropshipping, all you have to do is throw together that store and get a product out there, and you can be making money.
Yeah. No, I do think it probably is important, especially with Facebook's new, like, and I think they send out like a customer feedback score, so the customer gets to like rate the product that they just purchased from Facebook. So I think it is important that you have a really good manufacturer. You're certain that the product it works, it fits right, or whatever it might be. And then if you are doing big numbers, it probably is really smart to look into private label and bringing it into a fulfillment warehouse, either in the US or Europe or wherever your market is. I think that's going to be important in the future.
Is that what you're going to be looking at doing then? Is private labeling yourself and having your own brand around this product? Is it going to last that long, or is this kind of like a trending thing?
Like, I think because this is like it's almost like an evergreen product, we'll say. So like if I was to go on private label, which I'm seriously considering now, obviously it's a bit of a financial investment because you have to buy like probably a minimum of 2,000 or 3,000 pieces. But once you keep recreating your content, like for example, look at HiSmile. You're bombarded with their ads everywhere.
Yeah.
Like that is a product that someone will probably buy once, but they're managing to get consistent, probably doing 500,000 in sales per month every month. Just because they're recreating content. If you go onto Facebook ad library and search HiSmile, and you can see like the amount of creatives they have is phenomenal. So like no matter what the product, if you can create that amount of creatives and have the right Facebook advertising strategies and Instagram advertisements and stuff like that, well, I think you're guaranteed success. No, it's probably easier said than done, but
so yeah, there's a lot of time to be put into create that many. You get a team behind you, don't you? But how many did you start off with? You're going back to the PPE campaign. How many ads did you create?
One video ad.
We just did it with the one ad straight off.
Video ad. I have 2 video ads now and 3 images, we'll say. Now I actually watched one of your videos yesterday on the carousel ads. So I launched one of them today. So and I did it like you said. It was on the broad, just a broad, no detail.
Yeah.
Just leave it out there. 18 to 65 plus, English speaking, very simple. So I'm hoping it brings me to success. Success.
That'd be good to hear. I mean, is it a type of product that can work? Does it have that such a broad mass market appeal then to kind of could be to anybody?
It's potentially not. It probably needs. Now it's fairly broad, but it needs to be niche or narrowed down a small bit and a little bit more targeted than that. But like if that doesn't work, I'll narrow it down a bit and see how that carousel works. But I just remember looking at your video there yesterday. Like I think it was the sunglasses.
Yeah,
that you had. That was amazing.
It's so simple. It doesn't even take a lot of effort to put a carousel ad together. You can just throw it together in 5 minutes, put a simple ad copy on there, and you're away. There's none of this trying to edit a video and everything. Just throw the product photos up there and it's done. It's a really simple way of doing it. But if you're testing different creatives, you never know that might really work. That could work better than what you've already got out there. You don't know unless you keep testing over and over and over again. So are you starting to see any sort of ad fatigue now? Or is it still going just as well as it was?
Yeah, in the UK, like the ROAS is probably the first from July 7th to the end of July, it was probably like averaging 4. Now it's probably dropped down to like it's doing probably on average 3 to 3.5 every day now, but so it has dropped a little bit. So I do, but that's probably my own fault because I didn't actively go out and create a new video ad or anything like that. It's something I'm getting worked on at the moment, but once I have that up, hopefully it'll be able to maintain and level out a little bit as well. One thing I probably forgot to mention is I put it as a page post, obviously. So all the engagement has been on one ad. So it's like thousands of likes and millions of views or whatever. But I think that has been key because when I'm testing, say my new video, for example, and when I'm testing that in comparison and I put them on the same ad set, always the one with the engagement is the one that Facebook are prioritizing, and it's getting the more sales, we'll say. So engagement is very important.
Have you left your PP campaign running alongside it, or have you killed that off?
No, I killed it off.
You were getting enough anyway naturally through the conversion.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. I am impressed. I really am. This is the type of product that everybody dreams of getting. One that you can explode like this and branch out into other things. You've got a lot of potential with this, and it is still very early on. Do you have any tips, any hints to people just getting started in this? You know, what would you give as a piece of advice to someone who's thinking about starting dropshipping, or someone who hasn't found that product yet and very early on in their dropshipping journey? What would you say to them now you've been there and obviously had that success?
I would say probably the most important thing is just don't give up. Like I said earlier in the video, after finding the initial success earlier this year, I was close. I was trying so hard there for about a month to 2 months, and lost like 3,000 or 4,000 euros, and was just fed up. I was sitting here in this office every weekend, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, sitting down, testing this, building a new store, failing. So it's just a matter of sticking with it. And just try to be a little bit smarter than I was. I was just building stores and blowing through money just stupidly. I didn't have to do that. I could have been a little bit more smarter. But what happens when you get to that stage is you get emotional and you just makes irrational decisions. And you're just like, yeah, that's it, that'll work. I'm going to build a store for that. And then you're after building a store and you're like, am I stupid? That was never going to work. So it's just if you could just ground yourself, and don't rush into it too much. And I'm pretty confident it will come for you if you keep working at it.
With the product that you're running now, did you do any research on Google Trends to see if it was trending products? You did do product research, yeah.
Yeah, so basically on Google Trends, the past 2 years it's kind of been on an uptrend. 2 years ago, we'll say it jumped, and then ever since it's kind of steadily been rising. So yeah.
Yeah, so you had an idea quite early on. I mean, that PPE campaign, if you get sales on a PPE campaign, you know you're onto something. Yeah.
It's really, really good to see. Really good to see when that happens.
So why did you switch the PPE campaign off then? If it was profitable and it was obviously giving you engagement, why did you turn it off? Why not just leave it running? Because obviously you're reaching thousands of people really, really cheaply, aren't you?
Yeah, geez, that's a good point. No, my PPE campaign was only to the big five. It wasn't to like India or Brazil or Mexico or anywhere like that, because I didn't want them comments. I don't know if it affects it, but I just didn't want them spammy comments under the post. So I just said I'd stick with it. But it was a bit slow to start, to be honest. Like it definitely took a week before the likes started really accumulating. Like there was like, after 3 days, there was only like 7 likes and 2 comments. And I thought, like, why is this happening? I'm running a PP campaign and it's getting purchases, but there's no engagement on the post. But I think what happens is it's like a snowball effect. So once you get 7 likes, then you get 10 likes, then you get 20, then you get 40, then you get 100, then you get 200. It just kind of rolls down like that.
I think people become more comfortable commenting and liking on a post that has likes and comments on it. I've noticed on mine, you know, it is slow at the beginning, but it starts. You just made me think actually about your PPE. How long did you leave that running for to collect that data? What was sort of like your custom audience for 95% before you started?
So I made the 95% video viewer audience. I think it was after 150,000 views on the video, and then I launched it. I think it might have been 170 or 175 or something like that, up around that area, just before 200,000. And that's when I launched 95% video views.
And how many were in that audience, that custom audience of the 95%? Was it like a 2,000, 3,000 custom audience? What was it?
I think it was approximately like 3,300 or something like that at the start. Yeah.
So you were kind of on that cusp, because I always say to have at least 3,000 in there as a minimum. So you'd hit that 3,000. Started obviously conversion campaigns. How much did the PP cost you? Can you remember up to that point?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe 200 to 300 euros on it.
Oh, so you went quite big on the PPE then.
Oh yeah. Jeez, I spent a lot, especially when I was getting purchases. I could comfortably keep it going because, I was burning through money or anything like that. I knew there was income coming back in from it, so I felt comfortable enough bringing it up to that much.
So, which countries were you targeting then for your PPE?
For my PPE, I excluded the US. On all my headsets, I haven't made any sales into the US whatsoever. Maybe 1 or 2 just because they come in by accident. I don't know why. But Canada, Australia, Ireland, the United Kingdom, and Australia. But all the ads are optimizing towards the UK because the store currency is in UK. And yeah, I don't know why. Even though I send the ads out to all the audiences, for some reason Facebook, especially when I turn the CBO on, it's focusing predominantly on the UK.
Yeah. That seems to, obviously your 95% customer audience had really high quality sort of engagement in there. Then obviously targeting the top 5 or 4 of the top 5, I guess, was it? So you put Ireland in there as well?
Ireland, I consider that a top 6. You know me.
Yeah. So I mean, you had it all in there. So that's definitely some high quality sort of engagement now. I think that's what a lot of people are going for. You know, it used to be the whole go worldwide, and I think these days people have gone more towards e-packet, and I think people are narrowing down more and more. But the more you narrow, the more expensive it becomes, and the longer it takes to get that data as well. So it's kind of that balance between the quality and the speed of results.
And for my German PPE campaign, no, that isn't a profitable campaign, but I have that running at the moment. We'll say I think I have €90 spent on it. But that's accumulating all the German comments, and they're in the German language, and there's German people having engagements under the comments. So that's nice to see as well, because when a German person comes on to see that and they see all German comments, well then they think like, wow, this is a brand here in Germany, and like this is great. Because
how do you respond to those comments then? Because I'm assuming you're not fluent in German.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I've 2 VAs, and they use a website called Deeply. So it's DEEPW, Deepl or something like that.com. It's better than Google Translate, because you might notice with Google Translate, if you go doing this with your new store now, for example, Google Translate just translate direct words. So if you put in buy now for 50% off, or whatever it might be, Google will literally just translate word for word. Whereas Deepl, I think it's called, it's www.deepl.com. They'll translate phrases. So they'll translate the whole phrase to a German phrase. Like, so if you, whatever you might say, phrase-wise, and it'll keep changing. You'll see if you use it. It's much better than Google Translate. So what my VAs is they use Deepl to reply to all the comments and the emails. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a good little tip. I didn't know about that. You know, that's I've used Google Translate in the past to try and understand what people have been saying on, my posts, especially when you are targeting, because I target Europe as well. So when people email in about with a query or something, it's a different language, I always use Google Translate to do that. So I mean, that's a good little tip. If
yeah, so it's just pull it up there. It's DEEPL translator. It's extremely good.
Yeah, I don't think I've got anything else for you, mate. I think that was incredible. I mean, bravo, you've done it. You've done what a lot of people out there are trying to do. You never gave up. I didn't give up either, and I think that's the key. You can never be successful if you just give up when it's not working. You've got to keep going.
Like, yeah, it's dropshipping and finding success. It is, like, I heard a guy saying this recently. Like, it's not easy, but it's simple. And by that, he just basically meant that it's simple in that you can follow step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, and then you have it. But to follow step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, it's not easy. And you have to persist. You have to stay up late at night. You have to get up early in the morning. You have to probably nearly start crying when you lose €200 on a stupid Facebook campaign with a stupid product that you thought would work. But it is simple. Like, if you, for example, in your course, if you follow the steps in your course, like you would clearly be able to do it. Like, once you find the right product, of course. But it definitely isn't easy, but it is pretty simple.
Yeah, I completely 100% agree with you there. That's yeah. I mean, that's a really good way of looking at dropshipping. It is. That's exactly how it is. And I think the most important thing people need to understand is you need to find that product and you need to build a brand around it. This isn't a case of just throwing something crappy up and thinking it's going to make you rich. It doesn't work like that. You have to treat it as a business and act as if this is, your life. This is what you need to do to make it work, and you need to put all your effort into it, especially at the beginning. I'm assuming now you've got it all automated, so it's running for you in the back end. There's not a lot for you to do anymore other than just keep adding new ad sets and keep trying to scale. And obviously we're moving over to the German store. So once you get to that point, all that effort and all that stress, it makes it so worth it when you're at the point you are at now.
How amazing is that? 20 years old, and he's generated over £100,000 in 15 days on his UK dropshipping store. Now he's branching out and going over into Germany with a plan to go to France and to Spain just on this one product that he's found. I mean, this guy could make millions on this product if he keeps pushing it like he is, and he's got such a bright future ahead of him. But I hope you found the information in that video like informative, useful, because there are some, some quality little tips and tricks that he's given you there. Everything that Jack's doing is being taught in the academy, so if you want to learn, if you're new to dropshipping, you want to learn more, then get involved, because you could be the next Jack, you could be the next guy who makes 100,000 in the next 2 weeks. The possibilities with this are endless. You just need to make sure that you find the right product and you find the right audience, and if you can do that and you can build a brand around that product, you are onto a winner. And the possibilities are endless, and this can be life-changing. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because hopefully I want to get more of these types of calls in from students and from people who are successful dropshipping with their stores. If you're successful on your store and you want to be, take part in one of these calls, then just drop me a message from my Facebook page and we can get you on here as well. But yeah, I mean, this was amazing, incredibly insightful from Jack. Loved having him on here, and I can't wait to get him back to see how he's doing in the future. Make sure you drop me a comment, subscribe if you're new, and I will catch you in the next one.